sense control cannot be achieved by controlling the senses. It's a very funny and yet very dangerous thing. If you have been with anything at all since long, you will develop a bond. We have so many school love stories, college love stories. Have you noticed something about them? Mostly they are between students of the same class and those who have been in the same school for at least 5 years. So we were in the same class, same section since class 5. And then I figured out God made this one only for me. God made this one only for you and sent, or rather dropped that one to the same school, same class. The unworthy object extends your material being. No? The worthy object dissolves your material being. That does not mean you will lose weight. That means you will lose identification with material being. Do you understand what is desireless action now? It's all right to have objects in the mind, but today's verse will be best understood in the form of an internal experiment and observation. So, the first thing Sri Krishna says is, if you think a lot about sensory objects, then you develop asakti. You develop attachment. Remember, that has been the theme, talking about the objects of the senses. And 2.59 had first of all clarified. Of course, you remember we took 2.59, 60 and 61 together last time. And the 59th verse had clarified the right place of sense control. Sense control without self-knowledge takes you nowhere, rather takes you to your destruction. At the same time, sense control is very important. But ironically, sense control cannot be achieved by controlling the senses. Sense control cannot be achieved by controlling the senses. So is sense control important? Yes, very, very important as an end. As an end. Because if the senses are running haywire, then they carry the organism along with them. The eyes don't go anywhere alone. If the eyes have been at a place for long, for sure the other senses are going to follow. You'll walk up to that place, no? Ever seen a man gazing at something since long? What follows? He starts walking to that place. Or if you are looking at some country in a map since months, it's certain that sooner or later you'll book a flight and land there. And same thing applies to all other senses. Especially the mental faculty. If you have been thinking of something, then you go there. In fact, it is with the mental faculty that today's verse opens. So we are saying sense control is very important as an end, but not as a means, not as a method. The method has to be self-knowledge. And self-knowledge would mean observation of how the senses are behaving. Right? So if the senses are running scattered, you watch that, and that is self-knowledge. And that leads to control of senses. And now we are proceeding on the same theme. If this sense, the mind, has been chewing on something since long, then there is attachment. What is attachment? Strong association. Strong association. So there is stuff, and you have been with it since long. What does that mean? Proximity and length of time. Long denotes length. And the importance of the subject denotes proximity. That is time and space. The time and space is also the fabric of the entire universe. So more time and more space simply imply more material content. Time and space together denote the material. So attachment is proportional to time and space. Directly proportional to time and inversely proportional to distance. There is a nice video around 12 or 15 years old, in which I am explaining a same concept, not in the context of the Gita, to students of a university. And I am writing this equation on the board, the whiteboard, with the whiteboard marker. Just as we came to this, I realized. And the Gita was not in the picture. Attachment was what the query of the student was about. Where does attachment come from? I think the title would be Attachment is the Action of Time and Space. That would be the title of the video. So actually I turned it into an equation on the board. The equation was something like A is equal to K, some random constant, and T raised to the power N upon D raised to the power M. Just to bring home the point that the object could be anything, but if you spend time with it, then the probability of attachment increases. And the more you are proximate with something, physically intimate with something, the physical distance between you and something, the lesser it is, the more are the chances of developing attachment. It is as simple as this. The question of the student was probably expecting a deep response from me. So where does romance come from? So why are things so mysterious when we get fond of something or somebody? So what is that magical inner pull that we experience towards again something or somebody? I wanted to demystify that there is nothing magical about anything. It could be just anything. But if you have spent time with it and if you have lived close to it, then there would be attachment. These are the only two things that are needed. It is as simple as this. And wow, we today find the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. And I do not remember clearly, but probably then that's what happens when your reading has taken a beating. But probably then I had quoted some particular either incident or experiment where either a person or an animal was kept close to a wall or some other object since its birth, and the animal or kid developed a very strong affinity with the wall. This wall of bricks and cement. So attachment can develop with anything if you have been close to the thing for long. Because the ego is a hungry thing and also an insecure thing. It wants to lean upon something, and if it gets even an iota of satisfaction in leaning upon something, even if the kind of satisfaction it gets is extremely partial, still it would continue to not just lean but actually clutch. The whole process would then just carry on, roll on by itself. So the more is the time you have spent with someone, even if in a forced way, even if due to sheer randomness of circumstances, the more will be the time you will now want to spend with that person. This is attachment. When we hear of it this way, it sounds so stupid, no? But we experience it and patronize it daily in our lives. Attachment is often what explains the longevity of sustained relationships, friendships, or any other thing, and arranged marriage typically. No, not that you are in love. The marriage has lasted. The marriage continues to roll on because now the two of you are attached. Just attached. And attachment is not love. Attachment is something extremely material. Attachment is between material and material. It's a thing in Prakriti. An object in Prakriti following its guna-based properties to get attached to another object in Prakriti. That is attachment. And since we are recalling that session and again, probably it was there. We don't have two metal pieces here. But if this is what we have, and let's say this is what we have. Prakriti, Prakriti, right? Prakriti, Prakriti. Apart from that, there is nothing common between these two. But if you keep them pressed together for 2 years, 5 years, and then you return and want to pull them apart, you'll fail. This is attachment. Time, you need a long time. That could be 6 months, 2 years, 10 years, depending on the properties of these two materials. You need a long time, and you need physical intimacy. These two must be physically very intimate to each other. And then these two get attached. Actually attached. Literally attached. Solid state diffusion. Bonding. You'll have to cut them apart. Or you'll have to pry them apart. Using a wedge or something, or maybe a saw. This is attachment. Think. You kept them like this, and to ensure pressure, you kept something over them. Just as often between two people, there is a pressure, great pressure to stay together. So these two are together, and you keep something on top of it, some heavy object. And you forget. And you return after years. And these two have become one. And you say, look, such divine love. Inseparable. They can't be done apart now. No, sir, this is just attachment. Physics would explain it this way. This is diffusion. Some molecules of this, the molecules are in state of continuous motion, vibration. So some molecules have, in the course of their vibration, moved into this. And some molecules from this, in the course of their vibration, have moved into this. And so hence, at the boundary, there has become a compact, a diffused state. Are you getting it? This is it. This is it. This explains, surprisingly, shockingly, most of our behavior and relationships. Because we do have relationships and we don't have love. Both of these things are proven, right? We have relationships, often very stable relationships. And what is also certain is we don't have love. Then where are our relationships really coming from? They're coming from here. I'm talking of the stable relationships, not the transactional ones. What do you call those relationships these days, which quickly get over? Rajdeep will tell. Rajdeep. One night stands and all. Come on. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? He's just acting shy. He knows everything. Do you get this? This. So just because you have been with an idea, thought, place, or person since long, and now you feel comfortable there, someone asks, why don't you move on? And you say, because I don't see any problem, I don't feel any problem. That does not mean everything is all right. That simply means that you have become attached. And attachment is not at all love. Attachment is just solid state diffusion. Some part of the body of this has entered the body of this, and some part of the body of this has entered the body of this. Sounds so much like, anyway. Like what happens? And you become inseparable. Are you getting? This is attachment. So someone says, I feel very attached to you. Simply means that unfortunately you have given too much time to that person or allowed that person too much physical closeness. There used to be one love expert in my school, class 12th. And that was the time when the hormones were raging and people were pouncing on girls left, right, center. But just as we would lay our hands on them, we would find them pretty slippery. Gone. Huh? The lady has disappeared. After just 3, 4, 5 days of meeting, talking, dating, she's gone. So this love expert would then come up with a most invaluable advice. He would say, have sex as quickly as possible. Then she will go nowhere. So once you have had sex, then she is yours. One would feel like laughing at him. But in the context of this, you understand where he was coming from. Once there is physical intimacy, attachment grows. Attachment grows. The fellow was not altogether a fool. Maybe he was not coming from the Gita. But wherever he was coming from, some place of heuristics or wherever, or some slimy magazine he read something from, he had a point. He had a point. You understand why the mother is so attached to the child now? Come on. This is external intimacy, and the child has stayed within her physical space for 9 months. That is not love. The child has stayed within her physical space for 9 months. Obviously, that is attachment. And there is going to be attachment. Very strong attachment. And then there is the prolonged period of breastfeeding. Again, more physical intimacy. And then the child is dependent on every small thing. So again, more physical intimacy. Change clothes, change diapers, wash, feed, sing something for the kid to sleep. Again, more physical intimacy. And that is all attachment. Are you getting it? Love does not require physical closeness. Attachment does. Love also does not require a long temporal acquaintance. Attachment does. It's a very funny and yet very dangerous thing. If you have been with anything at all since long, you will develop a bond. People will say, but that's part of our humanness, no? We are human beings. So obviously, if we have been with something, we develop some kind of, what should I say, soft corner for it, feeling for it, something. You should use the right word. It's neither a soft corner nor just a feeling. It is attachment. And it can be developed towards any random thing. I just talked of the experiment where a kid developed feelings for a wall. I don't remember whether it was a kid or a kitten. It's something. Because since birth, it was exposed to that wall. and kept proximate to that wall. An old, decaying kind of bicycle or scooter or bike, decrepit, 10 years old. And now is the time to put it away. And you can easily do that because now you own a car and you also own a better two-wheeler. You can just send it to scrap. Have you seen people delaying the moment? And the thing keeps rusting and rotting in some garage, some backyard, but would actually not be disposed of. Have you seen that happening? Do you see where that's coming from? That's attachment. Because you are physically, riding it, cleaning it, getting yourself clicked with it. And that happened for 10 years. And then you feel this is some kind of mysterious, even mystical relationship you have developed with the vehicle. No. Neither mysterious nor mystical. This is just material. Just material. Dust, if allowed to stay on a surface for long, becomes a part of that surface. Do you know that? Then you cannot just wipe it away. You cannot dust away the dust. If it has remained on a surface for too long. It becomes the surface. It becomes a part of the surface. The surface sucks it in. All that is happening at the molecular level. Constant movement, and it gets in. Let me give you a more animate example. We have these hair on our scalp, right? These hair. These are the longer ones that we are able to look at with unaided eyes. And then there are micro hair. Very small, very, very tiny, very tiny. If they fall on your skin, especially on your back, and if they remain there, and they can remain there because they are extremely tiny, not exactly nanoparticles, but you may think of them as some kind of microparticles. So the pressure of water or the flow of water will not necessarily take away those micro things. So they stay. They come to some point, they stay. You know what happens after that? Skin grows around them, which means they get back into your body. And that can lead to skin problems. Then you'll have to treat that spot. Get that little mole surgically removed. And when it will be removed, what will you find inside? Hair. Microscopic. You may not even be able to look at it with naked eyes. Microscopic. That little hair. That's how things happen. Whatever you remain in touch with, it becomes materially a part of you. That's attachment. This palm, you keep on a wet surface and let it there be for long. Length of time is needed. You keep it on a wet surface and let it be there. And then, what do you find here? Will you be able to wipe off the wetness? What happens? You've experienced that. The wetness you find has permeated Even if now you wipe it totally dry, yet you see that your fingertips are now still moist and swollen. Have you never seen swollen fingertips when you have been in touch with water for long? The water has gotten inside. This is attachment. Now you cannot just take a dry cloth and wipe it clean. Won't be possible. Because there was contact for long, so it went inside. Attachment. It is dangerous because this can happen with anything, which means there is no discretion involved here. And discretion is a word that we will come to later in today's verse. I talked of water. It could be any other fluid and it will get inside. Is there discretion then? No. Did it seek permission? No. These two, we said, were kept together under the pressure of random circumstance. Right? Consent was not sought, especially for such a long association. Maybe they had mutual consent for a short sling. Let us be together for a week. But COVID ensured that they stay together for 1 year. They got together, let's go out somewhere. And then they figure out that they cannot go out because the government is saying, no, you stay inside. So these two now have to stay inside for 1 year. And then they get into each other, become inseparable. They say, we found what our souls were looking for. There is nothing called soul. The only thing to be pronounced like that is S-O-L-E. Remove that very dangerous word from your dictionary, S-O-U-L. There is nothing of that kind. There is the self, there is the ego, there is the mind. There is nothing called the soul. It is a concept. The soul is just an idea in the mind. It has no existence. But we talk of it as if, my soul is feeling like this. No. It is a feeling in the mind. And the same soul in Lokdharm becomes Jivatma. Nothing like that. Do you get this? So, you have been fed curry of a particular type since childhood because you were born in a particular part of a particular country where they, for example, use a lot of 2 or 3 types of particular types of spices. Happens, no? In this part of the country, they use a lot of, give me some names, I don't know. Turmeric, fine. Turmeric I knew already. Give me, Cumin. This always surprises me. What's that in Hindi? Jeera. What's dhania? See. Dhania turns respectable. And you start saying, now you are an adult and you move to the hostel. And the hostel is at a place 1,000 kilometers away or another country. And there they serve you the same curry, but it has a totally different taste and you feel like throwing away the bowl. Why can't they cook it properly? Why can't they cook it properly? And you feel justified raging away like that. Why can't they cook it properly? Now, what is this properly? This is just your conditioning. Because you have been fed like that since 15 years by your mother. So for you, that has become proper. But what's proper about any kind of conditioning? Conditioning is conditioning. And people break up I come from some place, Assam, that fellow comes from Gujarat. And he went to the kitchen and actually put sugar in the curry. Before he could serve it to me, I served him divorce notice. Such an improper guy, putting sugar in curry. What's proper or improper about it? Just that your taste buds have become accustomed to some. It sounds very simple. When we talk of it in serenity, with collected minds, then it is also transparent. But when chemicals, feelings, hormones, biases, they rule, then you lose all this objectivity. Then you forget that whatever you are taking as dear to yourself is dear to you just because it has been with you since long. Otherwise, there would have been no dearness. No dearness at all. With you since long. That's what each relationship translates into. With you since long. That's it. Nothing more than that. And the same fellow, given other circumstances, would be in an equally stable relationship with somebody else. The only condition is with you since long. A appears to be very stable with B. A would have been equally stable with C had the same conditions been met. With you since long. There is nothing soulful, mystical, spiritual about any of these bondages. Which means that if they come apart, don't cry. There was anyway nothing in them. In fact, if this comes apart, then probably there would be some seeing. No? In attachment, you cannot see. And all that you will write, what will this one write in this kind of fused state? It will write some kind of gibberish. Attachment makes you write gibberish. You can neither see nor write. What an unseemly रब ने बना दी जोड़ी. She is this way, he is this way. We have so many school love stories, college love stories. Have you noticed something about them? Mostly they are between students of the same class and those who have been in the same school for at least 5 years. So we were in the same class, same section since class 5. And then I figured out God made this one only for me. God made this one only for you and sent, or rather dropped that one to the same school, same class. With you, same section, since long. That's it. very difficult that you will jump over into the adjacent campus and have an affair there. Not going to happen. Bust this myth called love. How come your soulmate is always found in some ditch near you? India contains no more than 16% of the world's population, which means 84% of Homo sapiens do not live in India. How come your soulmate is never found outside your little territorial boundary? And it's not even that you are exploring the whole of even this country. How come your soulmate is rarely from Nagaland? Usually the same district, same city, same school, same class, same section. God is so kind. He packs and parcels right to where you are. Or to some colleague at your workplace. Even at the workplace, it has to be somebody who sits right next to you. So a lot of molecular diffusion happens, Molecules, they travel through air and they enter your nostrils and become part of your system. Yes, that happens. Don't you know of these things? Prakriti has made very subtle arrangements. Men and women, without even knowing, they secrete, they emit entirely opposite kind of molecules and they send it out into the air. What are these called as? Pheromones. And you won't even realize that you're seducing the other. Just by existing. Not by trying. Just by existing, you are seducing the other. And you cannot do that if the fellow is too far away. So the fellow has to come within your strike range. In Prakritic strike range. And then you... all smelly parts of your body, you are emitting stuff. And they get into his nostrils or her nostrils. And then this happens. And you say, no, the divine bonding is now happening. Slowly, gradually, we are getting drawn towards each other. Do you understand this? From attachment arises desire. It is to be understood that the ego has no specific particular material desire. It only has a great emptiness, a great hollow that needs to be somehow filled. But when the ego gets attached to something, a particular material object, now great material desires will arise. Which means all the material desires that you have are actually with respect to some material that you are already attached to. Subsequent to this association, now there will be a lot of desires. Before this, the ego was just asking for something. It did not even know whether that thing has to be material, because really that thing does not have to be material. The thing that the ego is asking for, we know it's not going to be material. So the ego was just crying out, I need. But once there is an association, After that, the association itself breeds desires. One object that comes into your life actually makes you desirous of 40 other objects. So it's not about keeping the objects of desire away. That won't work. Why? Because the mother object you are keeping inside you, within you. And this mother object will keep calling for more and more objects. Are you getting this? One fellow was shouting at his wife. Is it? We had a long courtship and then you were never crying for a kid. 5 years before we got married, we kept dating each other. And then you never said, let's have a kid, let's have a kid. Then you only said, let's have protection. And now that we are married, suddenly you are so desirous of a kid. That is because one object has now entered her life. So she will want more objects. As long as the first object itself was not secured, she was not asking for more objects. In fact, then if the fellow would say, let's have a kid, she would balk away. Stay away. Do you see this? Once the first object is secured, now the man is secured. Now I can have subsequent desires, more desires, follow-up desires. So once an object enters your life, then it entitles you to yearn for more objects. So the man has entered her life, now she will want kids. Before that, no. You talk of kids and you'll have problems. How many of you have bought special speakers and woofers? Was that before you bought the music player? Once the player is there, then you want all kinds of ancillaries and accessories. How many of you have bought car accessories? Was that before buying the car? You can do anything. Did you go out and buy a special horn without having a car at all? Did that happen? One thing that gets in creates a desire for 40 other things. You remember that cat? Which one? Which one? Billi mat palna. Allow one thing to happen, develop an association there, and that association, it's a radioactive thing. And those 40 things that enter next will entangle you in the pursuit of 40 more things each. That's 1600 now. And you don't have enough time in life. But then you say, I'll return to fulfill my desires. You see how it operates. The mark of an unworthy object, and you can know the unworthiness of an object through this. Once it enters your life, it creates a demand, a desire for more objects. The mark of the worthy object is that when it enters your life, you say full stop. I can see I am mistaken in demanding more and more. That's the worthy object. The worthy object comes to put a full stop. The unworthy object comes to accelerate the desire. The worthy object, therefore, is the brake. The unworthy object is the accelerator. Even in the usual kind of mortal love, let's call it morbid love, even in that you find that at least there is a temporary cessation of desire. You don't want much more from the universe, at least for 2 or 3 days. Then the gloves are off. तुम जो मिल गए हो तो ऐसा लगता है ये जहां मिल गया. I don't want anything more for 3 days. That's the mark of the right object. It's a cessation of search. The unworthy object extends your material being. No? The worthy object dissolves your material being. That does not mean you'll lose weight. That means you'll lose identification with material being. It's therefore the greatest blessing to be with the right object. It saves you a lot of fuel. Both inner fuel and fossil fuel. You could even say it saves you from getting fossilized. You don't have to run hither-thither anymore, because now the object is just so right for you that there is no more need to wander and loiter and... You getting it? A fellow is sitting with the right book. He'll skip meals. Even the most basic kind of physical desires are gone. And mama is hollering, go take bath. Since 2 days you are sitting here, eating this book. Go take bath. All that is forgotten. Because the right one has been obtained. Don't get into logical fallacies. That does not mean that if you do not take bath for 2 days, you are with the right one. I have said only as much I have said. Don't extend it from your own center. Just because you roam about smelly, that doesn't mean that you are in the perfect relationship. Or a fellow who has found the right work in life. Do you understand what is desireless action now? Work itself is so fulfilling, the fellow will not need to burn money and fuel outside work. And when work is not fulfilling, then you require a lot of output from work, a lot of rewards, returns from work, so that you can burn that money outside. You have to have fulfillment from somewhere, right? If work is not fulfilling, you will say, okay, fine, compensate me for doing this work. Because this work offers no fulfillment. This work is punishment. So you compensate me. If you're punishing me, compensate me. And what will you do with that money? You will go out and burn it. So this object called work entered your life with the punishment that you will have to now go out and seek 40 other objects just to somehow mitigate the negative effect this primary object is having upon you. Work angers me so much. Work numbs me down so much. Work terrifies me so much that after work I have to go out and spend all my salary, which I got through the work. I have to spend all my salary on somehow taking care of the adverse effects of the work. You see how one object has brought in 40 objects? And what will be the quality of those objects? After work, you go out and drink. So that's how the relationship pans out. One bad object to an object that's worse. And something actually miraculous happens when you are really into what you are doing, the relationship with your work. You do not live a scattered life anymore. While working, you do not find yourself dreaming of the after work hours or the weekend. The mind is no more scattered. You don't have to seek fulfillment elsewhere. Not that you don't go anywhere else, but you don't go there to be fulfilled. It's good to have a nice walk. The eyes grow tired of looking at one particular thing or a screen. So fine, for the sake of the eyes, I'm going out, looking at something else, taking a break. All that is fine. Or for the sake of the body. Can't keep sitting in one posture all day. Have to go out and play something, whatever. That's a different thing. Fulfillment is an internal thing. Are you getting it? Insight. If you find yourself struck by uncontrollable desires, figure out the mother object that is attracting all these desires. These desires stand on a platform provided by an object you are already attached to. And if that mother object remains in your life, then the subsequent desires cannot be controlled. Which means desires are not just to you. Desires are to you plus something that you are already attached to. Good so far? From desire comes anger. From desire comes anger. How? Difficult to meet a desire, first thing. Second thing, you meet it and that breeds even more desire. The room is dirty and things lie scattered. You clean up the room and you are probably not all that angered by the cleaning up, right? Though it's not pleasant, but it's also not something that would enrage you. You cleaned up the room. And just after you have cleaned up the room, the kid walks in and splashes something on the floor. What happens now? Deepti ji, what happens now? Top spin. Why? It's not something you have never done before. The room was in a bad condition already. You cleaned up, you put things in their place. Now, why did you get angry when he got in and, let's say, spilled some dal on the floor? Why did you get angry? Because you thought that the job was done. Right? And when you assume that the job is done and then discover that there is more to be done, then there is anger. That's the case with desire. You fulfill it and then you discover, oh, there is more to be done. There's more to be done. Like your boss telling you, you complete this project and then you go back at 9 p.m. That's fine. 9 p.m. Just 9 p.m. The boss is saying so. Fine. And then 9 p.m. you go and you submit the file. And the boss says, right, now we can move to the next leg of the project. Now begins the real work for the night. Now you will be angry. Even if that next leg, the second part, is just for 1 more hour. Whereas you worked all day to come to this 9 p.m. end. Let's say you worked for 10 hours to finish off what you have. And now the boss is saying just 1 hour. That's not just 1 hour, that's 1 more hour. And that will lead to anger. Desire says, come on, fulfill me. And you'll feel great. And you've done everything you can to obtain that object, to tick that box. And once it is ticked, you discover it's not enough. It's never enough. Just as we are never enough for ourselves, the entire universe is never enough for us. Desire will breed anger in all ways. Unfulfilled, you'll feel betrayed by life. Unmet desire obviously will cause you to sulk. And met desire will present just even more desire. That tells you how to treat anger for those who remain very interested in such a question. I'm short tempered. I blow up very easily. Sir, I have a short fuse. Don't talk of anger. Talk of the desire behind it. And those who talked of having their 100 desires as their problem, we said don't talk of the 100 desires. Talk of the mother attachment, the mother object. All these desires are coming to like bees. I have allowed some sugar paste or some jaggery to settle here on my forearm. And then 100 flies are coming to me. Should I fight the flies? I should rather look at the mother object that is attracting all the desires. And when you will fight the flies, you will be angered because they cannot be fought off. If you keep getting angry just too frequently and too intensely, try discovering your unmet desire. There's bound to be one lurking somewhere. Have you found yourself saying this? I'm angry, but I don't know why. Or I'm off, but I don't know why. Just upset. I don't know at what. Ever found yourself that kind of mood? There is desire somewhere. Figure out what you are craving. There is something you are desperate for, and either you don't know it or you don't admit it. All anger, all internal toxicity is founded only on desire. From anger arises delusion. From anger arises delusion. Now we are coming to the more physical aspects of the phenomena. Anger is a rush of blood. Anger is the entire inner physical system getting unstable. Anger is a vehicle at 5000 RPM. The consequences will be very material. There can be no mind without the brain. And the brain is a very subtle equipment. The blood vessels are extremely narrow, extremely narrow. In fact, that's the reason we are intelligent people. All our intellect, our IQ is founded on the fact that our brain is much more developed than that of other organisms. It cannot tolerate a lot of blood pressure. Otherwise, what you get is hemorrhage, stroke, all those things. You know, we were walking on all fours, quadriceps we were, long back. And then the heart and the head were at the same vertical level, right? So the blood pressure used to be higher. The blood pressure used to be higher. But when this fellow slowly started walking on twos, on the hind feet, the legs as we call them today, then the head got at a higher vertical position than the heart. So the blood pressure dropped. And that allowed very, very delicate nerves, vessels, and cells to develop. And that's what amounts to your IQ today. This cannot function properly with high blood pressure. And anger does exactly that to the brain. It increases the rush of blood. For the brain to function properly, the system must be calm, quiet, serene. If the system is agitated, the brain drops in its efficiency, in its powers. So when there is anger, the verse says, then there is delusion. You understand delusion? The brain is now losing touch with facts. The brain is now failing at its proper function. Instead, it is getting into imagination, hallucination. Because it has to substitute for the facts with something. If it cannot work at its optimum, then it cannot keep in touch with facts. So it will replace the facts, it will fill up the void created by the absence of facts with imagination, and that is called delusion. You'll start seeing things that are not there. And you'll start ignoring things that are right there. Anger makes you go bonkers. The fellow is deluded. And that's a thing of daily observation, no? When you are angry, have you not seen what you do? You're angry and you cannot see the rock right in front of you. And you hit and stumble. And then you get even angrier. You're so angry you burned the paratha. And then you burn the curry as well. Because you're angry. Is it not a matter of daily personal observation? That in that fit of rage, you do things that you would have otherwise not done. It's aptly called a fit. You understand fit? What is fit? Boom. Gate gate paragate swaha. Gone. It's a fit. And then from delusion comes confusion of memory. Which again is something very physical. You have no control over it. Memory is itself a physical thing in the brain and in the other cells of the body as well. In fact, somebody with a background in the neurosciences would come so handy this moment. They'll be able to describe the exact phenomena through which we experience delirium. When you are angry, what exactly happens in your brain? But that's something that you should read up and post on the community by yourself. At that time, maybe even the sages, even the most accomplished wise people did not know the exact processes, but they knew the broad contours of the phenomena. So they are able to describe it here. So that this is how the whole disease progresses inside. And how did they come to know of it? Self-observation. They said, right now I'm angry and I'm seeing that I am getting deluded. Now see how my memory is getting confused. I'm saying such a thing happened, whereas it never happened. The memory is all screwed up. And I'm insisting, no, but you just said I'm an... The fellow says, I never said that. I said something else. No, but am I a fool? And now you are even more angry. He said something and now he is brazenly denying it. He takes you to be a fool. You're even angrier. And now you slap him and he slaps you back. And now you pull out the gun. The only problem is there is no gun. But now you are a shogun. And you shoot him and he shoots you back and now you are dead. The problem is you are not dead. Anything can happen. And from the confusion of memory comes the destruction of discretion. And with this, the person is ruined. Discretion doesn't operate in a vacuum. You need to know the facts to apply discretion. When facts are all gone and your entire mental space is a mishmash of facts, half facts, memories, imaginations, stories, theories, then how can discretion even operate? You can have a great driver, but you also require the headlights. Without knowing the facts, how can a driver operate? You can have the greatest of drivers and still you will meet an accident. Because the driver requires facts. He requires to see how the road is and whether there is something coming from. Similarly, discretion, just as the driver requires facts, the faculty of discretion also requires facts. And in rage, facts are the casualty. In any emotionally aroused state, facts are a casualty. Any emotionally aroused state. You get emotional about anything and you'll start talking rubbish. You are bidding goodbye to an old friend, you're teary-eyed. You say, he was the best cook in the world. Yes, he cooked great nonsense all night. But beyond that, what was he cooking? Sexually aroused, darling, you are the prettiest. Such nonsense. Even the buffalo next door would probably be prettier on a sane day. But because you are emotionally aroused, so you are actually feeling that this one is you. Are you getting it? Any kind of emotional arousal. Hold on, stay put. Don't jump the gun, don't do anything. Whatever you will be doing would be distasteful, disgraceful, and harmful. Especially don't make commitments when you are aroused. Be it anger, be it the blind kind of nationalism, hunger, any kind of emotion. Always remember, the brain works rightly only when it is peaceful. When the brain is not peaceful, then rest assured, the machinery is sputtering and leaking and creaking and giving some suboptimal output. Like what you see on the screen of an overheated computer. Would you want to trust the computer system when it's overheated? No. It might be a great computer, but right now it is overheated. Don't trust the output. Same applies to your brain. Anger is the heating up of the system. Instead of expending the energy in the right direction, anger is about burning it up within. Like a car accelerating on neutral. This one will definitely get heated up. And you don't even need to go to 5000 RPM for this. On neutral, if you run your vehicle even at 2000 RPM, it will get heated up. Whereas you can run your vehicle at 100 kmph or 120, it may still not get heated up. Because the energy is being spent in the right way. But standing idle, you accelerate it, and within minutes you find the temperature needle moving towards red. That's anger. Getting all hot and boiling within. And Sri Krishna says all that brings the person to his ruin. What does it start with? Keeping an object in the mind for long. Too near, too long. Avoid. Too near, for too long. Avoid. Now you understand why some of the wisest people in the world have been wanderers. Ramta Jogi, Behta Pani. All that is not coming from habit or tradition. That behavior is coming from a deep realization of how our system is. Let's go to Saint Kabir. बहता पानी निर्मला और बंधा गंदा होए, साधु जन रमता भला. Complete? दाग न लागे कोय. Do you understand this? I won't stay with any particular object too near for too long. Sadhu jan ramta bala. Just as clean water keeps flowing, and that same water, when it accumulates, stagnates into a puddle, you see how it rots. The wandering darwish among the Sufis. No, don't stay at a point beyond n number of days. Even among the Jain monks, that's a kind of rule. They have an upper limit of days. They say beyond this limit, we won't stay at a place. We get attached. Are you getting this? If you want to be with the right one, then do not give too much intimacy or time to the wrong ones. They stick. Since the sadhu is with his Ram, therefore he does not want to give an elongated opportunity to the world. He says, if I stay with this, and there were so many households inviting them in. Baba, hamare ghar raho. The sadhu says, I can stay at your home for 2 nights and 3 days maximum. And then, because beyond that, you will become important and Ram can get sidelined. There is a danger that may or may not happen, but why should I even run the danger? Why should I underestimate Maya? Your kids are so cute. And the housewife, she is still pretty. Plus you have a lot of wealth stacked somewhere and you trust Sadhu Baba. You leave the drawer open. And Sadhu Baba is sitting and the locker stands open and there is some gold or some cash there. Unnecessary trouble. Let me just roll on. Behta pani nirmala. It's all right to have objects in the mind. But a mind free of objects must be your natural swabhavik state. Objects will come. That's the rule of physical existence, and that's what this brain machinery is equipped to handle. Objects will come. The problem is when they come and stick around. Let them come. Let the problem be solved. Let the object perform its right function and then show it the door. Make sure it exits. There should be no problem letting any object in. You should not be afraid. But there is a problem when something comes in but refuses to go out. Then there is a problem. Anything is welcome. Please come. Yes. You want to talk to me? Yes, you can come. You want me to think about something? I can think about anything. I'm not afraid. But there has to be a purpose to your arrival. There has to be a reason why an object is here stationed. And once the purpose is fulfilled, once the reason expires out, then the object should not stay here anymore. Otherwise, there would be attachment. Are you getting it? We are not talking the traditional moralistic language here. We are not saying you must not look at such a thing, you must not think of such a thing. We are saying everything is all right, everything is welcome, provided there is a purpose. You bring a friend over to your place returning from the office. Come, drop in. Let's have some coffee. And now it's understood that he will leave. The fellow says, no, where is the bedroom? I mean, that's too much. You should know when to bring the fellow in and when to gently nudge him out. And gently is optional. The fellow gets too obstinate. No, this, that, one. I'm hungry, I'll also have dinner. Have a nice lut or something. This is what we take for dinner, bamboo. Getting it? No clutter. No clutter. As long as the traffic keeps flowing smoothly, the road can handle even 1,000,000 vehicles. But when there is a jam, then even one vehicle cannot be handled. Let there be no jam here. Behta pani nirmala. Let the traffic keep flowing. Things come and then things leave. Don't stay here, otherwise there would be a traffic jam. Come, do whatever you have to do, and then move out. Have you seen one of those drive-through facilities provided by the fast food chains? Come, pick your pack, drive on. Don't stay here. Come, here's your bag, here's your packet, and then you drive on. That has to be the approach to objects. Nobody is allowed to use this as a parking space. This is a flowing road, not a public parking. Don't stop here. Enter, but depart. And if you do not ensure that, then the last word is the person comes to his ruin. You'll be ruined by this small thing. Yes.
Namaste, Acharya Ji. How the session started was with the definition of attachment, where you said that attachment basically comes when two objects physically stay too long, too near for a longer period of time. So the second object, I'm able to understand that the two objects were Prakriti, and the second Prakriti I'm able to understand. But the first one, that is I wanted to understand more on that.
The first one is not really I. The first one is the physical apparatus. The first attachment the first identification that I already has is with the body.
Right.
So all attachment proceeds here onwards. The body is the default identification of the I. It is the factory setting. When you are born, then that setting already exists. I am the body.
Body.
And then the subsequent attachment, material to material, comes with another object that sticks to the body. So the body is material and attachment is always between two material objects. This is the first material object, and then there is a second material object which could be anything.
So then it proceeds what we call as I. I mean, belongings, relations, everything, then that becomes the ego.
The ego is I.
Right.
I am the body. I own the shirt. The shirt is mine.
Mine.
The shirt is expensive, so I am great. You see how the I is just continuously rolling on and assuming newer shapes, newer definitions, newer identities using objects. More and more objects that are dependent on the previously existing objects. Can there be a shirt I am attached to without there being a body?
No.
So I need a body to wear it on.
Right.
And once there is the need of the shirt, then the shirt can be expensive or this or that. And along with the shirt, I could ask for a necktie or special buttons or something, cufflinks, something,
Then everything is material.
Everything is material, yes, obviously. The first material that you are associated with is the body. And the body has no concern for anything that's not material. So for the body, the love, it has to be material love. Fulfillment, it has to be material fulfillment. Once you are the body, then you are locked into the material.
So anything that reminds me that I am not a body is helping me to get detached.
Get rid of everything that follows the body. Because being with the body, as we said, traps you into the material domain. Like you are with the body, and the body will be a material thing. So everything that proceeds from the body will be helplessly material. And now you are stuck. You'll fall in love. That will be material love. Anything that happens to you will be material. Which means nothing is really happening to you. Everything is happening to the body.
Right.
And you are not the body. So nothing really is happening to you. Which means you are not succeeding in any way. You are born with a void and the void continues to remain. Nothing is happening to take care of that. All that is happening in the domain of the material body. And irrespective of how much happens there, it will not bring closure to your grief. I'm a woman, so I need a man. Do you see what's happening? The first identification is with the body, and the body has a definite gender. So I need that one, and I expect fulfillment. The game is lost right at the beginning. What has been explained in today's verse are the ways of the body. The ways of the body. So you are thinking of some object. What is the first object you are continually thinking of? The body. And from there, all the rest ensues. Be careful when something occupies your mind. Be careful before giving importance to anything. The importance that you give to an object becomes the destiny of the subject.
And it will always be an object.
Hmm?
And it will always be an object.
I.
Whatever I'm giving attention towards.
That's your object. Because it's you who's giving the importance. You are the subject. That one is the object. And since you are deeply identified with the body, therefore the object you will give attention to will be a material object. Why am I thinking of food so obsessively when I still have pending work at hand? Tell me. And the work could be of tremendous importance. But the mind is continuously thinking of food. This situation indicates a problem of values. Since I am the body, therefore food is more important. Had I been consciousness, work would have been more important. So ostensibly I am not thinking of the body, I am thinking of food. But food is not for me, food is for the body. And I'm giving so much importance to my association with the body that I am allowing food to dominate my mind. In fact, it's not food that's dominating my mind, it's the body that's dominating my mind. Have you seen how much importance we give to beautifying the body? When you talk of the fitness industry, what kind of fitness are we alluding to? This is the fitness of the body, right? By default, everything is about the... When you say somebody is handsome, what does that mean? It's understood, needs no explanation. You said somebody is handsome simply means the body. That body identification is such a default thing and such a deeply embedded thing that you need not even specify or clarify. It is understood that you're talking about the body. Let's get ready for the movie. What does that mean? Meditate and be in the right mental frame to watch a movie? What does that mean? Wash your face, wear the right clothes, get into your shoes, buy popcorn. All these material things, they are about getting ready for the movie. Or do you say it's a very important movie I'm going to watch, so first of all, let me concentrate, let me declutter? You don't say that, right? Getting ready simply means combing your hair, maybe putting some makeup, putting on new clothes or more suitable clothes. By default, the body identification exists and is furthered, continuously furthered. He breached my space. Typically, what would that mean? He touched my body. Now, somebody might be penetrating your mind all the time, and that's such a violent thing, a criminal thing. But you rarely object because you're not the consciousness. Somebody is polluting your consciousness. Do you lodge an FIR? But somebody, especially if you are a young woman, if somebody touches your body, then you are quick to react, which is all right, fine. We are not saying you should not react. But please understand, he entered my private space. What does that mean? He got physically intimate without consent, right? Touched or... Because we are the body, hence we take that as the biggest crime possible. Now that indeed is a crime, but not the biggest one. The biggest one is when your consciousness is violated, not when your body is violated. But we are the body. So I am the most offended when somebody spoils my body. Yes, when somebody spoils your body, then you must definitely respond in a befitting way. Definitely. If needed, you should take punitive action also. Punish him. Fine, that's all right. But why are you not more offended? When somebody attacks your consciousness, when somebody tries to condition you, when somebody implants thoughts and theories in your mind, when somebody tells you how to live life and how not to, when somebody tells you what does it mean to be a respectable and modest woman, why do you not feel more offended then? That's the question. Because we are not identified with consciousness. We are more identified with the body. So somebody steps on your shoes and you cry out, don't you? Ah! And somebody steps right on your being and not a word you utter. Not just steps, tramples your entire being in a subtle manner, and you don't utter a word.
I actually get too irritated when anyone, even by accident, touches or
Which is all right.
they
Nobody should just randomly touch anybody. Personal physical space is very important.
no, even accidentally. I mean,
That's fine. Even accidentally, somebody has to, you have to be careful. If there are people around you, you can't randomly or even accidentally allow yourself to. But what's more important is that your mind should not be stained by somebody's touch. And that we are utterly careless about. There was one article long back. Again, since so much has been said and written over the last 15 years, rape of the body versus rape of the mind. And there was some hue and cry as well on that. They said you are trivializing rape. I said no, rape remains a punishable offense definitely. I'm just sensitizing you to be equally careful about something equally heinous that goes unnoticed. But because the entire society is body identified, so when a woman is physically harmed, then we'll take offense. But the society itself mentally enslaves woman. And then not a word. Think of a typical patriarchal family, the girl of that family, she's being constantly violated in the mental sense by the father, by the brothers, even by the women of the household. And that's permissible. That's permissible. She's constantly being violated right since her birth. So much so that her mind has become a mess now. She can't even think straight. She lacks all courage, all clarity. But that's taken as all right. But one day she goes out and somebody from the society or locality Eve teases. And then the father and the three brothers with their luts and bullets. Good, 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 good. How dare you touch our daughter? How dare you? That's the thing. Had you shown even 1% of this kind of sensitivity to her mental violation, she would have been an altogether different person today. Worse still, you in the family, you were the violators. You who are acting today as the champions of her modesty. And modesty means nothing much more than virginity. That's all. Physical virginity, that is. Again, physical, not mental. You act as custodians of her well-being. But you are the one responsible for destroying her mental well-being. Body identification. Since the fathers and the brothers are the body, therefore the daughter or the sister too is a body. What else can a body see? I am a body, so she is also a body. Full stop. That's how the animal behaves, no? Some snake is sitting here. Is the snake enjoying the Gita? For the snake, I am just a body. It might even bite me. A tiger will be a more befitting example. You might be the greatest scholar roaming around in Jim Corbett, preaching to your bhakts. And they are all following you because they are obviously followers. And you are heading straight towards the horizon. And after a while you figure out nobody is responding. And you turn around and find a solitary tiger following you. The bhakts have all run away. Only one is remaining. And this one isn't following you for your wisdom. It is following you because you smell good and will probably taste good. For the animal, you are just the body identification is the name of the animal. Always remember the soil and always remember death. The soil is such a great reminder. It is everywhere. Everywhere, anywhere you go, you will find soil. Look at soil, look at yourself. That's who you are. Look at soil, look at your face in the soil. That's who you are. Always remember death. Never for a moment forget it. It's impossible to actually forget it unless you are determined to. Because death is all around you. And by death, I mean the entire cycle of birth and death. Isn't it all happening all around? Even birth is death. That'll keep you grounded. People talk of methods of meditation. The soil is the method. The sky is the method. Any place where you do not find these, people say, give me some secret method. Shh, come here. Sky.